Okay, what's up YouTube? So, summer has finally started and yeah, it's pretty nice to be honest. Obviously one thing that I do with my time is I read books, and so these are the books that I'm going to read throughout the summer. Hopefully, maybe it gives you some idea of what to read. Maybe you like, you know, are interested enough that you like branch off to topics that you might not have considered, or maybe you know about these books but you never get them because you never heard anybody really talk about them. But before I like go on to like everything else, I want to make it clear that these aren't like summer readings, you know what I mean? Like they're not they're not fun, to be honest. They're not really, they're not like those type of books that like, oh, it's the summer so let me read. No, it's more like, you know, it's the summer, so I finally have time to read the books that I actually want to read. First, let's start off with this one book that I'm really excited about because I've been reading his work recently. I think he's amazing. It's, what's it called? On Anarchism? Anarchy. I can say anarchy, but I can't say anarchism. Anarchism? Alright, so I'm reading this book by Chomsky. And he's really breaking down, like you can see that, like I've already kind of read some of it. He's really breaking down what it means to oppose various structures of power. Like one thing that I really like about this book so far is that he's really, really good at pinpointing how the system is democratic, right? In that it truly just wants people to be free. And that's like the main principle behind why they believe in anarchy. Like if there's like a power structure, it must be justified as to why that structure is there in the first place. And so far, yeah, I've been really enjoying this book. This has been one of my, like I've read other stuff by Chomsky, and this is really one that's really fascinating to me. The other one that I really want to read is Killing Rage by Bell Hooks. You can see that I'm partially through it. I think, okay, I'm kind of like halfway through it already. I've been on summer vacation for like a week or two now. Honestly, this book fascinated me. Like that's why I'm kind of like halfway through it already. It's just so much more nuanced than I thought it was going to be. Like I just never really read Bell Hooks, so I didn't know what to expect from her. But she's just so brilliant. Like I love reading her work. It's just the thing is like one thing that she's really good at identifying is in what ways the patriarchy and racism interact with each other, and why both of them must be attacked in order to end racism. Like that's like a general thesis throughout her work, and it's surprisingly nuanced. Like I don't know, she talks about families at some point, and she says how like that's kind of like a it's kind of what she's talking about, but in a miniature, right? And it blows my mind. Like I mean, it's just so good. And it's really sad, of course, at the same time, because you know, she's talking about all these problems that are going on with race. If you know about this book and you haven't read it, yeah, it's definitely worth reading. And another book that I was really interested in reading was this one, by Frederick Engels, The Origin of Family, Private Property, and the State. I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost done with this book. And that's not because I liked it, but because I just wanted to get rid of it. I don't even want to talk that much about it. Like, it's just so, I don't even know. Like, I thought, and there are some times where he like kind of breaks down the whole connection between the economic system and women's place in it and how that oppresses them, and it's fascinating, right? But at the same time, I'm also reading, as I said earlier, I'm reading Bell Hooks. I point over there because the books are over there, by the way. Her stuff is much more to the point and is able to break down the complexity so well, where I'm like, I read this, I'm like, this is not even worth reading. Like, it's just not the same level of insight. Either way, I'm gonna finish it just because, well, I feel like I should. I don't know, weird. I don't like it that much, I'm very upset. Whatever. And the other book that I really want to read is Anna Karenina. The thing is, it's such a bulky book where like I could not find the time to read it during school. I mean, I guess I could, but it'd be it would take forever. I think it's like around 700 pages. I think yeah, it's like 750 pages. So finally got the time to read it. I read War and Peace, and that book is amazing in so many ways. I guess I don't like the whole thing about how it makes war glorious, and it kind of like you know, like there's really pieces in there about like masculinity to some degree. Well, actually not really. It kind of counteracts it. Never mind. The masculinity thing I'm wrong about, but it really does glamorize war in some instances, and it kind of bothers me. But in some instances, I don't know. You could look at it both ways. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those books. I don't know. If I upset you with that comment, then well, whatever. I guess I don't know. But anyways, excited to read this book. Tolstoy, undeniably, is brilliant. By the way, apparently I've been saying his name wrong. It's not Tolstoy. It's Tolstoy. Like you have to put the emphasis on it, or otherwise you're saying a completely different thing. Apparently, I don't know. Okay, so now it's a new day. I know we're in the same thing. I don't care. What's it called? So anyways, this book, I'm only really reading it because, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those books that's like, it's important, you know? That's kind of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not excited for this book yet. Like one thing that I really, one thing I really hate about this book too, is that it's already a dense book, and then if you look at you probably can't like see it, but it's very small font, and that's like, I don't know, that kills me inside. Like it's already so hard to read. I don't want to struggle, but whatever. Another book that I'm reading, and you can see I've already started reading this one, but not recently. It was like a long time ago. And it's definitely one of those books that I'm going to read because, again, it's like the same thing like that one. It's important. I'm not excited. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Okay, so this one I'm gonna read for a lot of obvious reasons, you know. But the main reason, actually, I'm reading it is that I don't really like his other work. You know, I've read The Rebel, and I've read, what's it called? I forget what it's called. I don't know if I have it. I don't know where I have it, but I think it's called The Stranger, right? I don't know, I thought that was just a weird book. I know it's like a big part of like his whole philosophy or whatever, but something about it was just odd. I didn't really enjoy it. Even when I look at like analysis breaking it down, like the depth of it, I still didn't think it was that fascinating. So I'm kind of like, I'm reading this as like, what's it called? I'm hoping that I find something enjoyable, because like I know Albert Camus is like a genius, and I just want to be able to actually see it, which sounds condescending, and it is. I just don't see it. I don't get what's so brilliant about him. If you write something like positive about his work or whatever in the comments, I'll read it and try to understand why people like his work so much, but I honestly just don't, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it really puts me down, because I know he looked up to Michel de Montaigne or something like that, and I think he's pretty brilliant, but I don't see how that like inspired his work at all. Anyways, the other book that I'm gonna read is, what's it called? Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. I've read two of her books, and that's why it makes me so excited to read this one. I read The Bluest Eye, and that one was just, I don't know. That was the first book I read by her, and I could not believe how good it actually was. It's just the thing about it is, yeah, there's a lot to discuss in that book. The other one I really liked was Beloved, and I read that one for a class, actually. Like I had it before the class even started, but then we read it for like a trauma kind of class. Like the thing about Beloved is that it really broke down the ways that generational trauma works, and how it affects people so much. And what's great too is like I read in Bell Hooks' Killing Rage, she talks about that book as well. So it's like, gosh, just, I don't know, something about it, it's so fascinating. So hopefully, when I get to this book, I'll love it just as much. I probably will. Even if I don't like the story, one thing that Toni Morrison is really good at is she just, I don't know, her writing is so amazing. Like, it's just so, it's simple without being simple. Like, it's one of those things that I admire her work. Like, I am so humbled by the work that she does because she is so brilliant, and I know I can't reach that level even if I work really hard. Like, she is just so good. And the other book that I'm reading is, well, I guess this is like a collection, but yeah, I'm reading Ibsen. And this is the first time I've read his work. I've already read 2 of the plays in this collection. I read A Doll's House and Ghost, and both of them are pretty amazing. I was really happy about them. The goal is obviously to read all of the plays within this collection, and I'm excited about them. Like, yeah, he's really good. He's really fascinating. Like, one thing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will understand what I'm talking about when I say this, but one thing that I always thought about wordplay is that it's typically only for like humor, and I think that's true. Like, if you look at Shakespeare, like, that's what most of it is. But in these plays, it's much more nuanced than that, right? Like, A Doll's House and Ghosts breaks down or kind of like analyzes what's going on in the play itself, and is like a symbolic kind of thing. Like Ghosts specifically, that one was really good. Like, I like the idea, and they say this kind of like early on, I like the idea that like what she's referring to in Ghost is like these customs and beliefs and like all these other things that precede oneself, and yet it has like a constant force on the way they live. Like, something about that is just so, it's obviously so poetic, and it just works really well for the play. And I was really happy to read it. I'm excited to read the other 2 plays, especially The Master Builder. I've heard that one's really good. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying the work. I can't wait to get through like all of it, just because, yeah, it's so great. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I might make the list longer, to be honest, because if you can see that, like, I've already read a good amount, you know? So I don't know, if you have recommendations, if you see like the stuff that I like and you're like, oh, I know what you probably would enjoy too, then yeah, go ahead, leave a comment, and hopefully maybe this got you interested in some of the other books, and maybe you just didn't know about them or something. I don't know, but yeah, well, that's pretty much it. All right, have a good one.